Welcome to Ayula Party Bears. As far as opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. I like it. We've got Double Force, we have Fell War Stone, and Worn Power Stone, and also the Immortal Sun. Probably not playing against Planeswalkers, but it's always nice to have that little bit extra card draw. So it's going to lead off with Force, and then anything else. We're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Ayula, Queen Among Bears. Whenever another bear enters the battlefield under your control, put 2/+1 counters on target bear. And that's not the bear that entered the battlefield. For some reason, I just got done recording Ayula, and I had that stuck in my head for some reason. So anyway, that can target any bear on the battlefield that you control. So let's go for Forest. And I just kind of like ramping on this one. So let's go Fell War Stone. And that's going to put us on Worn Power Stone and hopefully going for the Immortal Sun pretty soon to get some pretty good card draw. So, and then on the back end of Ayula, target bear you control fights. Target creature you do not control. So you can put all of your +1 counters on one big bear, maybe like River Bear, with Island Walk, and this is where our opponent messed up on turn 1, getting down an island. So we got the secret tech, Mosswort Bridge. Yeah, if we're going for Worn Power Stone, that actually works out pretty well. So let's get Worn Power Stone, and then we're gonna go for Mosswort Bridge. See if we can't find. We've already got Crater Hoof in the hand, so hopefully we can grab another Stampede Source. Path of Discovery. Ooh, Cage Sun would be a good option. Yeah, let's go and grab Cage Sun because that'll actually work out pretty well. Let's put those on the bottom in any order, and then kick it over to our opponent. So play against Sliver Overlord. 3-mana activation, search your library for a Sliver card, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. Then for a 3-mana activation, gain control of target Sliver. And actually, I'm really excited because I'm building the new Sliver, the first Sliver. I'm really excited to kind of test that out, see how it goes. And ooh, Cultivate. So at this point, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think at this point, we just go for Immortal Sun. We get to draw an additional card. Yeah, I kind of like going for that. So we're going to go for the Immortal Sun. There we go. Then anything else, kick it back over to our opponent. So if they do have any Planeswalkers, we've got those on lockdown. We've got a nice tribal effect with +1/+1, and spells we cast cost 1 less to cast. So it's going to make this Cultivate be 2. That's going to turn Crater Hoof into 7 mana. Dragon Scarred Bear is going to be 2, actually making him a proper bear at 2 mana. So, and also we've got Bears versus Slivers, which is pretty sweet. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to build your very own party bear deck, hey, they've got you covered. They've got Ayula and whatever sort of bears you may need, and I'll cover that here in a second. So let's go ahead and lead off with Windswept Heath. And bummer, opponent got down a Shroud with Crystalline Sliver, so that's really going to stop us from being able to have some of our bears. So we just really need to go wide to hopefully kind of beat these Slivers. So let's go and lead off with Windswept Heath. And you know what? Let's go for this. Let's go and get Ayula down. This is just going to be 1 green mana. Oh, look at that value. Let's go for River Bear. And since it does have Island Lock, we're just going to dump as many counters onto River Bear as possible. And let's go for Dragon Scarred Bear, because that's going to be 2. Yeah, I like that. I don't think we're running into a board wipe, so I kind of like going for this. We're going to go for Dragon Scarred Bear. Let's go and put those 2/+1 counters onto River Bear again. So that's going to make it an 8/8. And then anything else? No, I think we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. So we do have Dragon Scarred Bear on the battlefield. It does have Formidable. We can regenerate it if we do have power total 8 or greater, and we do have that with the River Bear. Now, as far as next turn goes, we are looking at Crater Hoof. That's going to be +4/+4. That's going to be 16 damage. That's going to make it 12. Depending on what they get down, we can drop in Cage Sun. That's going to be a +1/+1. That's going to give us extra mana. I don't know if we can one-shot up next turn, but we certainly want to try. But yeah, shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders, shout out to Ink Gaming, and then also I started a Patreon. So it's officially free time, and let's have some fun. But yeah, I think we're getting dangerously close to maybe kind of one-shotting our opponent. They've only got a 2/2 and a 1/1 if they end up tapping out for Sliver Overlord. That would kind of eat up a pretty good chunk of damage, but with us having Island Walk, that's pretty good. Now, one of the fun things about building this bear deck, this is a standard bear tribal deck. You know, we've got Ayula as the commander. And basically, if you've been a fan of the channel, I used to play Party Bears with Omnath. And so to have an actual bear commander, I was so excited whenever they released this. And the fact that it's a 2-mana commander making it a bear, that was a really good effect. And actually, Ayula's really good. Being able to get these +1 counters on a lot of your creatures, and simply just running a really nice amount of trample damage. You know, Crater Hoof, Stampede, we have Thunderfoot Baloth in here. Being able to get these bears out really cheaply We'll really quickly get those 2+1 counters, because getting those 2+1 counters, it's nice to have that fight, but it really makes it to where you've got a really nice bear army. And I think we go for it next turn, because a Necrotic Sliver is going to enter the exile zone, and they're going to be able to start destroying target permanent. So we need to deal as much damage as possible. So let's go to crack Windswept Heath. Make sure we're not... Yeah, that's fine. So we're going to crack one substitute, grab ourselves a forest. And we do have fetchlands in here because we are running Ayula's Influence and Life from the Loam. That's kind of a way that we can generate a little bit of extra value. You know, being able to discard some land cards to make some bears is always a nice effect. You know, 4/4 bear for discarding a land. I'll take that any day. All right, so we're going to draw an additional card off the Immortal Sun. And that's going to be Thran Dynamo. Let's go for Mosswort Bridge. And we definitely have that requirement. So we're going to tap Felwar Stone. And we're going to choose green. That's going to give us the +1/+1. So at this point, we've got 8 total mana to work with. The Crater Hoof, we're looking at 7. Yeah, so let's just go and slam down Crater Hoof. Okay, so we're going to have Crater Hoof enter the battlefield. It does have haste, so hopefully we're going to see some blocks from our opponent on this. All right, let's get skip it up on this one. So you can definitely see the power of the bears. We've got Dragon Scarred Bear coming down. We've got River Bear sitting in at 9/9. We've got Crater Hoof coming down. Excuse me, Crater Hoof coming down. I'm going to do the combat math super quick. Okay, so if I did my math right, I think we've got 39 points of damage coming across, 9 of that unblockable. So you can see where River Bear is just way overpowered. You know, if you're playing in a meta where people are running islands, hey, here's your win condition right here. I've got Crater Hoof coming down, but yeah, I think I added it up. It's like 39 points of damage coming across, and minus that with the 5 mana, or the 5 power and toughness they have over there, that's going to put all the way down to 34. So that should close it out. A good game to our opponent. It always feels good to beat slivers, and especially if they're going to be untapping with a Necrotic Sliver, being able to destroy some permanent. So, anyways, enjoyed your time with the Party Bears. Like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Ayula Party Bears. As far as opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. I like it. We've got a beautiful interaction in our hand, and I cannot wait to talk about it. And that's going to be Ayula's Influence and Life from the Loam. So, definitely going to be keeping on this one. And we're playing against Hogaak. So, hopefully this should be a pretty fun little match. So, we're playing Ayula, the official queen of the Party Bears. Whenever another bear enters the battlefield under your control, choose one, put 2+1 counters on target bear, then target bear you control fights target creature you don't control. So, let's see what we run into. Now, we do have some fetch lands in here, and I'll kind of talk about this interaction here in a second. So, I guess, since we do have a... Let's go lead off with Mosswort Bridge. Let's just see what we can hide underneath the breach. Maybe a nice little Crater Hoof. Ooh, Thunderfoot Bailoff would be really nice. So let's go and grab that, put that on the bottom, and then put those on in any order. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn. So that is Ayula. Target bear you control fights another target creature you don't control. And playing against Hogaak, the Arisen. You can't spend mana to cast Hogaak. Then it does have Convoke and Delve. So with Convoke, you can tap down a creature. This can add a colorless mana. With Convoke, you can add, if it's a green or a black creature, you can add green or black. So that's kind of how you cast Hogaak if you're new to Commander. And also, you may cast Hogaak from your graveyard, and you're still keeping score at home. Hogaak does have trample, so opponent's off to a pretty good little graveyard start. And since, well, we get to go Life from the Loam and just kind of start dredging. Is that exactly what we want to do? You know what, let's get some ramp going. So let's go Felwar Stone, let's go Mosswort Bridge, and then we'll get down to Ayula next turn. Then anything else, we're going to go past the turn. So we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to, I just realized that my, we recorded in the lounge the other day, and I realized that my background music was playing in the background, so I do apologize. I've got that turned off now. But yeah, quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to build your very own party bears with the Ayula, be sure to head over there. They've got all the bears that you may need. And also, shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order and help the channel at the same time. Get yourself a custom playmat, and t-shirts will be coming soon with some of my decks. I'm really excited about that. And let's draw into Ancient Tombs. That's going to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Thran Dynamo. Yeah, I actually kind of like doing that. So let's go Ancient Tomb, get down Thran Dynamo. And that's going to allow us to go for Ayula. So let's get down Ayula, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be 1 green. And basically, with us getting Ayula down, we just really want to kind of just start rolling out some of these bears. And as you'll see in the lounge this upcoming Friday, which I'm really excited to to show off, Austin for Commander 99 is going to be playing Ayula, so it actually ends up with a really nice board state. And last but not least, I started a Patreon, so if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below, and get your name at the beginning and the ending of the credits, and if you cannot contribute, hey, no problem, just tell somebody about the channel. So now it's officially free time. It is a Party Bears time, so if you've been a fan of the channel or a friend of the channel for a long time now, one of the decks that I've played since the very beginning has been Omnath Party Bears, and I've always liked bears in Magic, and I wanted to build a bear tribal deck, and so just ended up using Omnath as just kind of a way to help us cheat the system by allowing us to get a little bit extra mana and get a lot of these bears out here. So whenever they finally released Ayula, I was super excited about that, to finally have a proper bear commander. Now, opponent did send it back to the graveyard, but hey, we've got a ton of mana, and that is not the end of the world. So running to Explosive Vegetation. So let's go for Explosive Vegetation. Let's grab ourselves a forest and a forest. Those enter the battlefield. Let's have Memorial enter the battlefield tapped, and let's go for Ayula one more time. So we're going to get down to Ayula. The next target, we can actually end up going for Sword of Feast and Fame, and allow us to kind of get a few more stuff out on the battlefield and really start attacking our opponent's hand. Now, that may end up helping them, but as long as there's no creatures on the battlefield, then it should be good for us. At least kind of make sure Hogaak doesn't come out of the graveyard. But yes, the Ayula's Influence and Life from the Loam. So I'm kind of running this very small Ayula package to where I'm running a lot of fetch lands in here that grab our green sources. And we do have a couple lanes in here that sacrifice. So we've got Sacrifice Memorial to Unity. We can look at the top 5 cards. And that way we can really kind of start making these land drops, or simply just getting them into the graveyard and start pitching them to Ayula's Influence to get a few more extra bears. Oh, look at that. Autocrat into Hogaak. That is that's some good magic right there. Okay, so at this point, I think we still end up going Sword of Feast and Famine. So let's go for Sword of Feast and Famine. We're going to go for the Equip onto Ayula. And what this is going to allow us to do, at least swing past Hogaak. We are looking at 8 damage on the back end, but hopefully we can build up enough value to make this line of play worth it. So anything else, we've got 2 mana. Let's go and tap down Memorial, go for Thran Dynamo, and let's go for Druid's Familiar. And we can Soul Bond. Actually, let's see if the protection with Sword of Feast and Fame is going to allow us to Soul Bond or not. So let's go and put, I think, yeah, we want to actually, if we go fight the Autocrat, that's going to get rid of the bear. Let's do that with Striped Bears on the back end. So let's do that. So we're going to go and put 2 counters onto Druid's Familiar. Okay, and since it isn't targeting, we do get that nice bonus. I was worried that since it had protection from green, with Sword of Feast and Fame, and that would stop us. And then let's just go and cast Life from the Loam into the graveyard. So we're going to click OK. There's no lands, but at this point, we just want to use as much mana as possible. So let's go for Life from the Loam, have that go into the graveyard. Let's go and swing in with the Ayula. Oh, this is some good Party Bears. I'm going to go swing in for 6. Let's knock them down to 22, and that will be 6 total commander damage. Make them discard a card, and then we get to untap our lands. And then we're going to have Striped Bears go and fight the Autocrat. That way we can at least kind of get rid of those extra tokens they have on the battlefield. So we're going to have Striped Bears enter the battlefield. And this is one of the more powerful bears out here, is that we get to draw a card whenever it enters the battlefield. So we're going to have our bear. And actually, we can just have Druid's Familiar fight Autocrat. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, I thought it had to enter the battlefield the same bear, so that actually works out really well. So we're going to go for the card draw off of Striped Bears. They draw into Ashcoat Bear, and they're going to get rid of all these serve tokens, and then yeah, you know what? Let's just go and get down Ashcoat Bear. Actually, we can just flash that in. So since we don't have fetch lands or an active Life from the Loam, let's just go and pass the turn. And then if we want to, we can just kind of flash in Ashcoat Bear and try to catch Hogaak sleeping. Now, I keep wanting to throw an R into Hogaak because I keep thinking of Hodor from Game of Thrones. So if you hear me throw an R in Hogaak, that is why I'm thinking of Hodor. And I don't know why, that always made me laugh. So our opponent's going to go for Morbid Curiosity. Ooh, that is a really nice, that's a nice line of play right there. I need to add that to my Hogaak deck. That's pretty sweet play. So there are a few other sacrifice elements out there. There's like Life's Legacy, and then I think Greater Good. So I may end up having to add that to our Hogaak deck, because that actually work out pretty well. But yeah, outside of the deck, it's just your basic bear tribal deck. We've got Metallic Mimic in here to kind of help this going. Sword of Feast and Famine is always good in a deck like this because we get a lot of ramp going. And then once we go for Sword of Feast and Famine, that does allow us to... and actually, if they do something else, at the beginning of combat, let's go and flash in Ashcoat Bear. I don't know what the actual required mana is, but at least with us flashing this in, what we can go... Let's put the 2/+1 counters on Druid's Familiar, because actually if we end up going for Flashcoat Bear next turn, we can actually put the Sword of Feast and Famine on Druid's Familiar, or we can actually just go for commander damage. So I kind of like this. And then also, if we run into another land off of an influence, we can have a bear enter the battlefield. So I think we do want to dredge, because worst case scenario, we can just sacrifice Memorial to Unity. So let's go and dredge Life from the Loam. Okay, we don't hit a fetch land off of that. Let's go and crack Memorial to Unity. Now, actually, let's do this first. So we end up going for Mosswort Bridge. I think this is a better line of play. So we go for Mosswort Bridge. And we're going to get Thunderfoot Baloth on the battlefield. Oh, look at that. And then at this point, let's go and put Sword of Feast and Famine under Thunderfoot Baloth. Sorry about that. For some reason in my head, I was thinking that Sword of Feast and Famine was going to give Thunderfoot Baloth haste, so that is not a good line to go for. So let's go ahead and push in. Yeah, I put it on there. I was like, why doesn't Thunderfoot have haste? And then I just got wrapped in my head that it was, that it gave him haste. So there we go. Knock our opponent down to -4. Sorry about that. This is also my first time playing with the Ayula as far as the actual counters themselves. For some reason, I had it stuck in my head that it has to go on the creature that enters the battlefield. So you can definitely see where we can get a really nice board state going. You get down something like Ayula, get down Sword of Feast and Famine, allow you to get a lot of mana on the battlefield. And even then, we're able to knock down a ton of damage on our opponent. And had we been able to get Life from the Lump going with the Ayula's influence, that would have been a... get a lot of those bears entering the battlefield and just really kind of clear the way for all these creatures to swing in. Now, we are running a few other trample effects in here. We do have stuff like Stampede, simply because, being able to get these bears on the battlefield and get those +1 counters, typically if you can go +3/+3, give them trample, it's going to be really hard for your opponent to stop that, and even just slamming down something like Crater Hoof can clear the way. But this has felt great to get the party bears going again, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.